I'm honored to have the opportunity to be here to speak with you all tonight. My name is Wendy Vassaleros, and first I wanted to thank my amazing sister for writing a letter to Lisa about my story. And I, like you, have been walking the journey of grief, the most painful one that I think anybody can ever embark on, losing a child. And first I want to start by saying I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Because I know if you're here, it means that either you've lost a child, your most precious little child, or you're here supporting a loved one who's struggling with the grief of losing a child. And I know that your pain is great, because mine is too. For those of you who are here in support of us grievers, please know how important that you are. Don't ever underestimate the power of your support and how important you are to us that are grieving. Grief is often a very lonely journey, and every bit of support, no matter how large or small, really truly matters. For all of us grieving parents, you know as well as I do that oftentimes there are people in our lives who won't be as supportive as we wish or as we would like, and that won't get it or understand. But I ask that you don't take the time to waste a minute on them, but instead focus on those that are here with you, or that are here in spirit with you, that are supporting you every day, and how grateful you are for them in your life. I want to personally thank all of you for being here, standing out here in the freezing cold with those of us that are grieving, and showing time and spending time with your family and friends. That is a great thing. And I know that our angels in heaven are probably thanking you as well for taking care of us parents. I pray tonight that I can bring you a message of hope to those of us that are struggling with grief, because I know that sometimes the hope is all that we have to get us through to the next day. I have 4 children. Lexi is 10. My angel Haley, whose picture I have with me, she's right over kind of on that side over there, usually very decorated. She would be 7. Ava just turned 5, and Joey is 2.5. On July 20th, 2006, my daughter Haley was my second child, and she was born 8 weeks premature. Although she was early, everything seemed fine. But after a few hours in the neonatal intensive care unit, the doctors had found that she had a defect in her esophagus. And so that caused her to be unable to swallow properly and therefore get food and saliva into her stomach. 9.5 weeks later, and several surgeries, we were blessed to be able to bring her home. She was the happiest, most determined little girl that I had ever known. No matter how difficult her life was and her trials were, she was always excited. And I used to always say that she could make a statue smile. Mentally, she was completely normal, but physically she struggled. Eating was her greatest obstacle, and oftentimes we would have to gag her to get food that was stuck in her esophagus to come up. She also had many choking episodes that landed her in the hospital on multiple occasions, sometimes for long periods of time, but none of it ever brought her down. Although Haley was supposed to live a relatively normal life, on August 11th, 2009, about a month after her 3rd birthday, I fed her lunch, gave her a hug, a kiss, and I put her down for her nap. Little did I know that that was the last time I would hold my little girl alive. After what seemed like a longer nap than normal, I went to check on her, and she was already gone. It turned out that she had scar tissue that had built up in her esophagus that we were unaware of, therefore causing her to choke in her sleep. As all of you out here know, too clearly, my world came crashing down at that moment. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I didn't think I could live one day without my little girl, let alone the rest of my life. The pain and heartache was unbearable. Although Haley was only 3 years old when she passed away, her life was just as valuable as someone who lived to be 100. No matter how long your child has lived, whether only in the womb, 3 years, 15 years, or beyond, they matter. They are special, they are important. Their life was worthwhile, and they can make a difference. We owe it to them, as their parents, to let the world know that they existed and that they still do exist, even if only in our hearts. Our job is to keep their memory alive and make sure that no one forgets them, because of course, as you know, we never will. On the day Haley died, as my husband and I sat in the emergency room, holding our little girl wrapped in a blanket, and crying for this beautiful life that we had just lost. We knew we had to do something. We had to make her memory last forever. We had to create a legacy for her, something that she would be proud of. So we set out to do just that. My husband, being an entrepreneur and someone who thinks very big, met with some of Haley's most amazing therapists that worked with her to start a clinic called Amazing Kids, which is right here in Lake Forest. They have done the most amazing job at keeping her memory alive and helping other children who are struggling and need therapy. Me, being a little more practical and simple in my thinking, started writing a blog. I'm a very open and honest person, so I decided to write about my journey through grief. It started out as something just for family and close friends to read, but it turned out much bigger. I've had readers from all over the world email me and tell me how much it has helped them. Much simpler, yet just as profound, are the little mementos such as dimes. After Haley passed away, I asked for a sign that she was around. I suddenly started finding dimes, tails up everywhere. In places where there was no way money could have ended up, I'd find one at just the moment I needed to feel her nearby. Now, everyone I knows of thinks of Haley when they find a dime. And I love it. I love receiving emails and texts with a picture of a dime and a little note saying they're thinking of my baby girl. I even had a stranger once email me after reading my blog about my dimes, about a day that she was particularly frustrated with her children and really angry and yelling at them. She walked outside to get the mail and saw a dime laying on the sidewalk. She said it reminded her of Haley and how precious life was and instantly changed her attitude. Also, Lay's potato chips, have it here. Lay's chips were Haley's absolute favorite snack ever. Although not the most healthiest, she ate at least one bag a day, usually the mini one. But now I receive texts and pictures of Lay's trucks from friends all the time. Even my children know that dimes and Lay's trucks are Haley's signs. These little things bring us a sliver of hope and joy amidst a heartbreaking situation. I feel that Sean and I have made her proud by keeping her memory active in our lives, as well in the lives of everyone we know. Just because she isn't physically here doesn't mean she isn't still part of our family. She still is much a part of our family as those of us who are still physically living, and we think and talk about her all the time. We include her in everything we do as a family, usually with a photograph, and that photograph of her is always in every family picture we take. I know that every one of us here want our children back, but unfortunately that's not an option we have right now. And we are pretty much stuck here until it's our time to go and be with them again. I'm sure many of you have heard of the phrase, bitter or better. As I pondered this one day, I realized that our children did not die to make us bitter. Instead, they lived to make us better. So during our time left here, we have a choice to make. Do we want to become bitter or better? Don't we owe that to them? Wasn't their life worth that? Losing a child or children is the worst thing that could ever happen. But if our children can see us here, and I truly know and believe that they can, they would want to see us become better. That's not to say we shouldn't be sad, angry, lonely, and hopeless at times, because those are normal and often necessary feelings that we need to feel and explore. But I believe it's what we do with those feelings at the end of the day that will make us better. So I pray in our children's honor that we do just that. Become better every day in their honor and make your children proud. As the new year approaches, think about what your child would want their memory or their legacy to be. What would they want the world to know them by? And then create it. It could be simple, like a butterfly or a cartoon character, creative, like a service project or a written book, or complex, like a foundation or a clinic. All are equally special and important. Think of anything that reminds you of your child. Then tell everyone. It's never too late to remind those around you that your beautiful child not only lived, but still lives and will live forever, even if only in your heart. Everyone who knows me knows Haley. They know I have 4 children, not 3. Even those I've never met know Haley. I will never forget her, and therefore will never allow those around me to forget her either. Our children did not die to make us bitter, but instead they lived to make us better. So honor them, keep their memory alive, make them proud, and go ahead, create their legacy. Thank you.